These animal rights campaigners have Australian sheep farmers in their sights.
Benetton supports cruelty to animals. Benetton tortures sheep.
Australian merino wool has gone from being famous for quality to being infamous for controversy because of mulesing, when loose skin around a sheep's hindquarters is removed to prevent the animal from becoming fly-blown.
In terms of animal welfare, it is one of the most brutal on-farm mutilations that actually happens to any animals around the world.
Farmers defend the decades-old practice as the only way to prevent sheep from suffering a lingering, painful death.
Within 24 hours, an animal can be dead with the fly strike, so that's the reason it's been done. Mulesing is a short-term pain and a long-term gain.
In response to the international campaign by animal rights activists, a growing list of overseas retailers has joined a boycott of Australian wool. Big fashion names such as Hugo Boss, Timberland, Abercrombie & Fitch have been successfully lobbied to drop Australian wool, as have European retailers Matalan, H&M, R&B and Lindex.
As we have seen, particularly in the last month or so from Europe, retail pressure is extreme in wanting Australian wool growers to respond to their desire to purchase wool from sheep that haven't been mulesed.
Wool producers like Max Watts say Australian farmers have been unfairly maligned by critics many have labelled extremists.
Sit there, sit!
We're very proud of the fact of our practices. We don't do anything to detriment the production of the animal. It hits us in the hip pocket.
We're not necessarily the extremists. The extreme process of mulesing is the problem for Australian sheep farmers, not us talking about it.
You said something about a trip.
The industry's cause wasn't helped earlier this year when a wool industry official was caught offering a Swedish animal rights campaigner an all-expenses-paid trip to Australia in return for not criticising Australian farmers in a documentary.
But it's expensive, I mean...
Well, you won't pay for it. That offer has been approved from Australia.
In the fallout from that embarrassment, New South Wales farmers angered their counterparts in other states by calling for an immediate stop to mulesing.
It just weakens our position, and we've already seen it in the wool industry where there's different groups saying different things. I mean, it's a classic divide and conquer strategy used by animal rights groups.
Thanks, Jane.
Australia has committed to phasing out mulesing completely by 2010, but the pressure from European retailers has prompted early action from the industry.
From the 1st of July, the Australian wool industry will start identifying wool from sheep that haven't been mulesed.
The chief of the peak wool marketing body Wool Producers Australia, Don Hamblin, has to convince international buyers and sceptical farmers the alternatives to mulesing are workable.
I think the industry has actually made a sword for itself the way it's rolled over, because this mulesing is now the tip of the iceberg.
Most farmers around the world adapt to change very slowly. This is a very rapid change we're asking our growers to commit to, and it's a step into the unknown. The alternatives are still being developed.
When the sheep's got wool on, that is applied, you pull the wool skin through there.
One of the methods being considered is the use of clips like these, which are attached tightly to the offending skin so it eventually falls off. But even this hasn't satisfied animal rights activists.
They also cause quite a bit of distress and pain to the animals, because it's like, for example, having a rubber band tied around a piece of your skin, and that rubber band just cutting off the circulation to that area of your skin until it falls off.
Spraying sheep with pesticides is another proposal, but the solution to the fly strike problem might be far simpler: breeding sheep that don't need to be mulesed.
We didn't actually dawn on it until I bought a line of sheep a few years ago from a sale at Kojonup, and it took us a couple of years before we realised how different they were.
Brian Bailey has been farming sheep near Mount Barker in WA southwest for more than 40 years. A few years ago he noticed some of his merinos that lacked the folds of skin once prized in the breed were easier to look after and didn't need mulesing.
We knew they were quicker to crutch and everything, and then we started really looking at them, and we noticed the bigger bare udders and whatnot, so then we decided that we should try and breed these.
On the other side of the country, the nation's premier research body, the CSIRO, is also trialling bear breech breeding with encouraging results. 4 years after he began breeding these sheep, Brian Bailey says this year he won't be mulesing at all.
One way or another, mulesing's going to go, and we want something that's natural.
According to a wool industry survey, 14% of wool growers are going to breed bear breech sheep this year and eliminate mulesing altogether.
These are very positive steps for year one on our progress towards the 2010 deadline. So it shows that growers have confidence, they understand the market requirements, and they're going to do it the best way they can.
Yeah, there's no mechanical, there's no clips, there's no injections or whatever, so it should be the only way to go.